Good day everyone, and welcome back to Gay Boy Lego. Today we're going to be doing some Lego Star Wars hot takes. We're going to be going through the Lego Star Wars Visual Dictionary, the new edition, and we're just going to be looking at the old stuff and, seeing what we have to say. I actually originally filmed a video much like this for my previous channel, Frank Bricks. Hold on. Except, as a matter of fact, last time I tried to do that video, the file's corrupted. File's corrupted. So I actually didn't even get to post it. So this is a video that no one has seen before. Also, this is also just going to be nice just to establish my opinions on some previous sort of Lego things. Firstly, we've just got a timeline here, yada yada yada. And there we go. Starting right off, the fall of the Republic. So we got starting off with our Anakin page right here. We've got our Naboo Starfighter, which is a set that I got. I didn't review it on the previous channel, but I did have this set, and I really, really liked it. The most recent Naboo Starfighter was such a good set. Great for pieces, great for price, great for minifigures. It had so much variety, and there was so much to it with like the droidicas and all like the hanger equipment that they included with it. I really, really liked it. I also have this set. This one with Zam Wessel's Speeder. I reviewed it for Frank Bricks, actually. Great classic set. Love the colors in that one. It needs an update, but not as badly as some other things do. This one over here was actually one of the first Lego sets that I ever got. The first Lego Star Wars set I got, indubitably. And I got it when I was on a road trip to PEI, and I have very fond memories about it. Both me and Rob actually have fond memories of it, because it was one of his first sets, too. In hindsight, it's still a pretty half-decent set with the two Tusken Raiders and Anakin and the swoop bike and everything. Even though the swoop bike isn't that accurate, it's still a cool set. This one is also one of my favorites right here. I love the Jedi Interceptor design so much, and I really liked that set. What was that, 2014, 2013, I believe? That was a good one. Then there's also the Twilight, which I've always found to be kind of an ugly design, but then again, that kind of seemed to be the point, but then again, that also kind of sounds like an excuse. The set always really looked pretty half-decent to me. Like, look at that. That recreates all the shapes of the Twilight, like, just as good as anything else could. As far as like, an actual... I don't know. I never got that set. I never had it. I never knew a single person who had it. So I don't feel like I can give that much of an opinion on it, so I don't even know anything really about the interior or anything. Maybe I should look into that, because I know a surprisingly small amount about that set. I know it had R2 and Anakin and Ahsoka and Rada, but outside of that, I don't really know too much. Minifigures on this page, they're all good. They're all good minifigures. Nothing really to speak for here. I've never gotten a Pod Racer set, and I'm really, really sad about it. Outside of that most recent 20th anniversary Pod Racer set. That was one of the last sets I reviewed on Frank Bricks. But anyways, this one that we're seeing right here, this was one big old set, these two Pod Racers right here. I believe it came with Obi-Wan and Anakin and Sebulba and Wald. Maybe someone else. Anyways, this was a really good one. I've always loved Sebulba's Pod Racer. It's such a cool design in the movie, and they did such a good job here. I would say that they should make it again, but that would be solely for my own greedy purposes. If I want them to remake it, it's only because I didn't get my chance to get it previously, and I still want it. If I'm going to be completely honest, it does not require an update, and it looks absolutely fantastic. It's such a beautiful model, and they really did it justice. And not to mention, of course, this is also a fantastic Anakin's Pod Racer. They've just slightly revamped it in the newer one, so it's just a little bit better than this. Not to say that there's anything at all wrong with this one at all either. Then over here you've got all your old crappy Pod Racers, most of which aren't even that good, although I've always had an appreciation for the Lego version of Gasgano's Speeder. Even though it's quite old, it's from 1999, and yet that's such a good Pod Racer right there. Like, they did such a good job. Sure, the Gasgano minifigure is kind of, like, really weird, That's a really good set. Like, I haven't actually seen it in person, but just the shapes and whatnot, it's surprisingly dynamic for when it came out. It's a good one. Wald is a minifigure I always wish I had. Sebulba is a minifigure I always wish I had. Watto is a minifigure I always wish I had. I'm not like those jackasses like Jenny out there that get every single freaking set. I'm not made out of money, damn it. I get like 3 views a video, okay? Give me a break. Then we got the Obi-Wan page. Speaking of some of the last reviews I ever did on Frank Bricks, this one right here, that Hyper Booster ring right there was one of the last ones I ever did. I like that set. It wasn't priced very well, but I got it on a sale, which was the circumstances in which it would be appropriate to get that set. And, it was nice. I still have it together, and I think it's a cool thing for them to do. Sure, obviously we all wanted, Jango Fett's Slave 1 more than we wanted this one, but what are you gonna do? It was still a really good set. That was a good set. I was glad I got it. I remember originally looking at it upon release, and that Praise for Peace was really bugging me, and I was really disappointed it wasn't a Slave 1, especially because the minifigures leaked before the actual set leaked, so everyone was certain that it was going to be a Slave 1, so it couldn't help but to be disappointing. But in the circumstances in which we got it, and actually having that thing in your hands, it's a really good Hyper Booster ring, and that's a really good Starfighter. And overall, it was a pretty good set, if a little improperly priced. The Hyper Booster ring itself was done really, really nicely. Anyways, great young Obi-Wan minifigure that desperately requires an update because of that stupid hair. Mullet Obi-Wan, then Episode 3 Obi-Wan, who has since been updated. Ugh. Then we got his Starfighter up here. An overly sticker-happy set, and a set that for some reason forgot how to do a droid socket, because if you can see right here, or if you just recall, R4P17 sat for some reason like way out of the droid socket, so it was a super awkward set. Especially another thing, it had no control panel inside, which was so weird. I don't know why Obi-Wan's Jedi Interceptor was such a downgrade from Anakin's Jedi Interceptor, but it kinda sucked. It had like 28 stickers, and it was really, really overbearing in that sense. And with that, and the weird droid socket, and the lack of control panel, it just seemed strange to me. I don't really know what went wrong there. Either way, then you've got the blue Starfighter, which I wish that they'd redo sometime soon. It's been a while since we've gotten one of these Jedi Starfighters, and I feel like in a year or two, getting the blue Obi-Wan's one would actually be really quite nice. To get that R4G9 droid in full would be really, really cool. To get the just classic Starfighter in that, blue color would be really nice. I also love the green one that we got for Anakin. That was a really cool set. This one came with a Hyper Booster ring. I remember that was pretty cool. I didn't ever have it, but it always looked like a cool set. Boga, the Varactile, always a classic. Everyone loves it in that ridiculous, goofy-looking original dinosaur design with the no prints, just the big chunks of plastic. Sure, it's dumb and it's aged pretty poorly, but who doesn't have fond memories about that? Rob and I, just the other day, we were talking about these old, ridiculous-looking dinosaur molds, and this is one that they made exclusively for Star Wars. That Varactile head was exclusive to the General Grievous Chase set, and I remember when I was young having the most fun with that. If there was ever a LEGO set that I have the most fond memories playing with, it would be the General Grievous Speeder and this freaking Boga. That was so very fun. I remember when I got those. When I got that set. It was Christmas. Christmas, what, 2005, 2006? Anyways, I remember that was a time when we were doing some, renovations. We were changing around a lot of furniture, and because we were changing around a lot of furniture, my room was completely empty. It was just all carpet, just my entire room, just the floor was completely vacant, and so I would do laps around the room with that General Grievous Speeder and Boga. Oh, the memories. Where does the time go? Anyways, then we've got the Jedi right here. I have most of these. By way of these minifigures, one of the ones I don't have is the new Windu, because I refuse to get that new General Grievous Speeder set. That set is just embarrassing and awful. I don't even need to buy it to know that. We got Yoda up here, who's really good. I love the Yoda update. They did a really good job with him. I love the most recent Barriss as well. She's really cool, albeit completely worthless because of the context in which she was released. We got the Ahsoka Tano right here, who honestly, personally, is one of my favorite Clone Wars minifigures. I think they actually managed to make it so that the eyes don't look that awkward on her, and I really like her facial expressions, and I really like her outfit, and this second version of Ahsoka is really, really good. Jedi Bob, old standby, how can you possibly forsake him? Classic. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are great. That Agent Kolar is, of course, wonderful. Stassa Lee is kind of an awkward-looking figure, one I've yet to obtain, but one that I also, you know, she's cool. I just gotta get my hands on her. Kit Fisto, of course, is a classic standby, a minifigure that I almost kind of hope they never update because he's just so classic and perfect in this form that he's in right here. Luminara, the most recent one, is absolutely fantastic, easily one of the best minifigures that they've ever made. Ila Sakura, the more recent one, is really, really good. I have the older version of her in that, like, lighter shade of blue, who's also, as far as Clone Wars minifigures go, okay. You got Saesee right here, who's looking strangely pissed, and that's his only face. Love the new version of Ki-Adi-Mundi, that one's really well done. Shakti needs an update to not be Clone Wars, but as far as Clone Wars minifigures go, she's could be worse. There's a lot of, even though it doesn't show it in the book, there's a lot of miscoloration on that top bit of her head. Evan Peel also needs a redo. That weird, awkward rubber piece that goes over his head. It could be worse, but it also could be a lot better. Coleman Trebor is great, he's a perfect one, and also Quinlan Vos is easily not only one of my favorite Jedi characters, but easily one of my favorite Jedi minifigures. The Jedi Fleet. You got Yoda's really crappy Starfighter right here, which was weirdly oversized and just kind of a stupid looking set. I didn't like it at all. It was just a dumb set, and I really thought that it was just a piece of crap. I don't even remember why I even thought it was a good idea to buy that thing. it just sucked. The shaping on it was weird. It was just an awkward thing, and I wish they didn't even make it at all. The T6 Jedi Shuttle. Oh yeah, this looks great until you look at the other side. Oh man. Public Cruiser is a classic. Gotta love it. I always wish that I had this one. I actually thought I was going to be obtaining it recently, but it turned out to be a massive Instagram scam, so that... It's still a classic set. I've always really wanted to get my hands on. Did you know that in this set, the Qui-Gon minifigure, there was very often a glitch wherein the Qui-Gon minifigure came with an Obi-Wan head? If I ever do obtain this set, I would really want the Qui-Gon head and not the Obi-Wan, like, bearded Obi-Wan head that for some reason some versions of this set got. I remember when this set originally came out, it was very coveted amongst me and my friends. And of course, who can ever forget that just cute as shit little speeder right there. I don't care who you are or where you're from, that's the cutest thing in the world. But that guy sitting up there, damn. Astromechs, most of which, as you can see here, are in the Clone Wars style, which I always thought was alright. I think it had a nice little bit of pop to it. I especially have always had an appreciation for R8-B7. Easily one of my favorite Astromechs in my collection. I've also always had an appreciation for R7-A7, Ahsoka's droid. The rest are just fine. Plo Koons is nothing special. By way of the Jedi Starfighters, I've always, of course, really liked the Jedi Interceptor, the later Jedi Interceptor versions, but these ones are also fine. I've always loved Plo Koon's design. I've always liked the way that the blue and the white work together, and I also like how, even though this was a Clone Wars set, it was completely accurate to the Episode 3 Plo Koon Starfighter that we see there. Mace Windu's Starfighter, I had that set, and I remember it was a little too sticker happy, and the colors on it are really, really awkward. I don't even know what they think they're doing on that one. Saesee Teens is nothing really that interesting. Ahsoka's is nothing really that interesting. And I really liked that updated Anakin's one. That was a good one. I liked that set a lot. That was a cool set. I was glad that they did that. That was a good one. Moving on. What is this page? Chancellor Palpatine? Okay. We have this one. I remember, I had a friend of a friend named Adam. He had this set, and I remember being so jealous of it. until I actually visited his house and saw it. Damn, while that's a really nice display piece, I remember as a kid being very disappointed because when you cracked it open, it was just a crappy office, and then the guns on the side weren't even that impressive, and it wasn't even really that big. Like, if you look at that thing and you look at, like, some of the pieces that go into it, it's not really, like, size-wise, it's really not that impressive. Which is kind of unfortunate, but, you know, like, I know a lot of people are nostalgic for that one, but for me, when I think back on it, all I see, even though I didn't have it, is just kind of disappointment. I remember being so excited and really jealous to go see Adams, and then when I actually had it in my hands and I was opening it and looking at it, I was like, wow, damn. And the Palpatine that came in that set was hilariously awful. I don't know why this Sheathipede shuttle is on the Palpatine page, but whatever, I really always liked that set as a kid. I always loved the gear functioning, opening back door. I always loved that, the shape of this thing. I always liked those legs. This was just a good little set. Nothing really wrong with it, just a good set. And this one, of course, is always going to be a classic standby for me. You know what? This is one of those sets that, despite it being admittedly riddled with flaws, I cannot help but to love. It has just this level of just ominousness and just from a scene that I love so very much that I can't help but to like it, even though deep down I know that it's got its problems, especially when it comes to some of its awkward color choices, and especially the other side of this fin is ugly as balls. I have an equal appreciation for both of these Palpatine minifigures, but I also have equal problems with both of these Palpatine minifigures. I love both of their outfits, but I think this one looks a little bit too young and this one looks a little bit too old. They've yet to perfect the Palpatine look, I think, the prequel Palpatine look. Neither of them sit quite right. I feel like they need to find an even ground between this one looking like he's 300 years old and this one looking like he's only 55. That one kind of looks like Rob's dad. Anyways, over here, we've got Count Dooku. He's got a whole page dedicated to himself for some goddamn reason. We've got his shuttle over here, which is always a set that I wanted. Although, looking back on it, it looks like a really awkward, kind of poorly put together set. I remember when I was young, I always really wanted it, but whenever I, like, go online and watch reviews of it now, it just looks kind of bad. We've got this hanger set right here, which, while it had some pretty half-decent minifigures and easily the best Count Dooku that we've ever gotten, obviously, it was a really crappy set. It was a really boring, stupid set. I really wish that instead of this whole hanger bit, we instead just got a remake of his shuttle, because that hanger bit was just embarrassing. Easily the best part of that set, outside of the minifigures, was... well, the best part of that set was, of course, Dooku and Poggle, but then also his speeder was nicely done. But the actual hanger bit was so bad. I don't really know what they were thinking with that one. Sith followers, you've got one of the 8 gajillion Sith infiltrators that we've gotten for no freaking reason. Although this most recent one is pretty darn good. Although the Sith Infiltrator has never been a set that's really impressed or interested me that much. So, I don't know why it's been remade so many times. Probably because that's one of the few excuses they have to put a Darth Maul in a set. This new, stupid, smiling Darth Maul. I don't know what they were thinking there. I love how they did his speeder there. They did that good. This... Sith Knight Speeder was a really crappy, stupid set. That was just awful. I don't know what they were thinking with that one. The Asajj Ventress looked bad. The Savage looked bad. Anakin had no place in that set. It was way too reliant on stickers and prints. The whole thing itself, while accurate to the show, was super awkward and didn't lend itself to play. Very poor. Love this, 2002, 2003 Clone Wars era Asajj Ventress that we got. That was a really cool minifigure. I bought that whole set off of Bricklink, that blue Anakin's Specialized Jedi Starfighter, whatever the hell it was, and it was worth it for that minifigure. And that was just a really cool set as well. And then we've also got Maul over here, this really awkward robot legs Maul, and I know a lot of people like this minifigure for some reason, and I liked him when I was younger too, but in hindsight, he's just bad. Excuse me. The Republic Army, of course, fantastic sets here, because, you know, these are just the ones that everyone loves. AT-RT with that, you know, 501st clone, awesome. AT-AP right here. Always a classic. Always loved that set. Don't know why they remade it more recently, which was really stupid. I have no idea. Oh, this one actually, this is the 2019 version. How could I possibly tell they're the exact same set barring some new battle droids? I don't know why they remade that set and bumped up the price just because I had some new stupid battle droids and made some maybe slight redesigns on some of the minifigures. Stupid. This one was really cool with the Wolfpack Troopers and Plo Koon. That cannon was really, really cool. One of the last, like, Clone Wars sets with those eyes, and this one often, unfortunately, goes unappreciated. The last AT-TE that we got, not the Rebels one, this one was really, really good. I loved that one with Coleman Trebor and Windu and everything. Oh, a bit lacking by way of minifigure count. Only one clone for a clone AT-TE, come on. But other than that, really, really cool set, really nicely done. I also love the more recent Turbo Tank, even though I know a lot of people don't. I think even though it's a bit smaller, I think that it had easily, like, the strongest minifigure selection of any clone Turbo Tank with those 2 exclusive Jedi. I think that it resembled the thing really, really nicely. Aesthetically, it just worked really well. And play-wise, it also had some really nice features. I think that despite its size, it was a good one. And while I will always think that the Clone Wars one is my favorite, obviously, because it's just objectively superior, this one is also pretty darn good. And while I get some of the people's criticisms, I have to be honest, I really did enjoy it. The AT-OT I always thought was an awkward design, although the dropship part of this set is really what made it special. Loved this Bark Speeder and that whole Saluk Mai set and the clone that we got in it. The sidecar I always thought was kind of goofy, but I always wish I had that set. I have a friend named Luke who I've been trying to trade out of that Rex for eons. And the Swamp Speeder is good too. Every iteration of the Swamp Speeder has been good. I don't give a damn what anyone has to say. The Battle Pack Swamp Speeder was good. The full-size Swamp Speeder was good. The Swamp Speeder that came with the Catamaran was good. All the Swamp Speeders have been good. Moving right along, we got the Republic Attack Shuttle, which never really interested me that much. I just thought it was never that interesting of a construction. Similarly, the Z95 Headhunter was a set that I would only ever get if it just for the minifigures. It just never really interested me, and it just seemed like a much dumbed-down kind of ARC 170. The police gunship is always an awesome, awesome ship in the show, and this is a perfect set they made off of it. Easily one of my favorite LEGO Star Wars sets ever. This one was just done absolutely perfectly. I loved that set, and especially those updated shock troopers. Republic Frigate, this one's also cool. I remember always really wanting this one. I remember never getting my hands on it, but my friend Sam had it, and I remember when he had it, even though the set itself was impressive, I remember looking at those minifigures, and between the Eth Koth and Quinlan Vos that came in that set, it was just embarrassing. The set itself always seemed cool, though. ARC 170 is a classic, and I've always loved it, and I really wish they'd make a new version soon so I could get my grubby little hands on it. The dropship is always a cool one, and I wish that in more recent years, maybe they'd make a really cool, like, AT-TE with the dropship. I would pay premium for that. That would be awesome, and you all know it. The V-19 Torrent was always an interesting set for me, and I never really appreciated that ship in the show, and I never got the set, and I never knew anyone who got the set, and it never really impressed me. The play feature always seemed cool with, like, the folding wings, but other than that, meh. And the V-Wing I've always hated. That's always been a stupid design to me. I've gotten a few V-Wing sets, unfortunately, but this design's always been stupid. And of course, the Republic Gunship, classic, perfect, beautiful set that everyone loves, and I love it too because it's absolutely phenomenal. Great minifigures, great construction, the best Republic Gunship we've ever gotten, and really honestly doesn't need an update. Clones, 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 we have clones in white, clones, clones, clones. What do you want me to say? They're all wonderful designs. There's not really a bad one here. They go all out when it comes to their clones, and I always appreciate it. I'm not going to go through every single one of these clone minifigures, because really, what's the point? It would just be saying, this one's awesome, this one's awesome, this one's awesome, this one's awesome. I guess I'll pick out my favorite and my least favorite. My favorite is probably the Wolfpack Troopers. I want an army of them, although I know I will never get it. And my least favorite would be the Bomb Squad. Why were there 2 of them included in that battle pack? And why the orange is so overbearing? It looks so dumb. Besides that, I always have my love for the Kashyyyk boys. That's my favorite battle pack ever. The Kashyyyk battle pack. Oh, the best. I got so many of that one. Separatist Army. The new pitifully sized AAT, which is a set that I liked, actually. Even though it was pitifully sized, I think the shaping on it was really good, and I think it was really reasonably priced, and I think it was just overall not really a bad set at all. I didn't really find any compunctions with it. Obviously, I'll always love the Clone Wars version even more, but as far as an Episode 1 AAT goes, it's pretty half-decent. If I had a compunction for that set, it would probably just be the minifigures, honestly. Very lame selection for minifigures. The more recent MTT is an embarrassment and everyone hates it, and for good reason, especially because LEGO tried to follow up that beautiful MTT from, 2007 with this lump of shit. I don't know why they possibly thought that was a good idea. I think recently that's actually been mimicked in the most recent Sandcrawler. They released that awesome UCS Sandcrawler, and then they released that crappy regular Sandcrawler. Just awful. Exactly what happened with the MTT. Droid Transport has always been a generic construction, but a good set for army building. Love the Staps, just great. I wish they came in more things. That Octoptaro droid was kind of an awkward inclusion for the Utapau Troopers set, but it worked. And the Separatist cannon, I don't know why the cannon part is like coming out of the top, and I always thought that the cannon was more supposed to be like a nose piece, but meh. And then Super Battle Droids. Now let's see. Battlefield droids. The more recent Droideka is one that I have a bit of appreciation for because it's actually surprisingly nice and massable. I don't think the Droideka has ever been perfected. I think the best Droideka came in the 2007 MTT, and they just only released it in that set, and that was it. But for simple sort of army setups, I think that this Droideka works pretty half-decently. Dwarf Spider Droid is something that they've never had problems with making. Since the first Dwarf Spider Droid, it's been perfect, and ever since, it's been perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Hailfire Droid is also one of those. They've never disappointed with a Hailfire Droid, and this more recent one, it's cool. Especially having 4 spring-loaded shooters on it. Like, that's deserving of appreciation all in itself. The more recent, Corporate Alliance Tank Droid is a pretty cool one, especially a good set for getting that older version of Jango Fett. Never thought I'd be calling that version of Jango Fett older, especially within such a short time span. But I guess it's been like 6 or 7 years since that. Damn. Life goes by, eh? And then the Spider Droid, I don't know why they remade it for Kashyyyk. I don't know what they were thinking there when they moved, like, recently basically made the exact same set for Geonosis. That was just a weird, dumb choice. Separatist Navy. This remake of the droid gunship I could actually understand because it was actually different from the other one, and I have appreciation for both these sets, although I gotta say that the one that came out in 2014, 2013 was my favorite. This is my favorite Vulture droid. I don't care what anyone says. I know that everyone bashes on this set, but I freaking love it. I think that it was sized nicely. I kind of even liked the inclusion of a cockpit. That actually made it just a little bit more playable. I think it was cool. I think it was big. I think it was intimidating. I think the shaping was really nice. I liked all the articulation you could get with the legs. You could actually have it like walk around. I thought that was a cool set, and I really liked it, and screw you. This is easily one of the worst. What's with the glare? Come on. Come on! This stupid hyena bomber was one of the worst sets ever made, ever. Adam also had this one. I don't know what it was. Adam's rotten luck when it comes to owning LEGO Star Wars sets. That one was just awful. Droid Tri-Fighter was a good, overpriced set. Good only for that one Palpatine. Other than that, not really much desirable in that one. General Grievous. best General Grievous minifigure we've ever gotten, best General Grievous wheel bike we've ever gotten, really weird Malevolence set. Their cruiser sets are such hit and miss. I don't know about this one. The side silhouette works. Once again, as a display, it functions fine, but as anything other than that, it's sucky. His new awful oversized speeder, which is just terrible. That, General Grievous Starfighter is a really good one. I've always loved that set. That was a really, really nice one. It was really cool with Nadar and his doctor and everything. And then the Magna Guard set is also one I have a lot of nostalgia for. I always thought that one was really, really cool. That was a good